Australian made and owned, Hi-Tech Oils is one of the largest oil blenders in Australia with a truly national profile, supplying an extensive range of oils, coolant, grease, batteries and much more for all businesses and consumer needs. Choose Hi-Tech Oils for peace of mind.
On our first show of 2020, we kick off the new year with a dose of international motorsport. First up, we head over to the UK and to the Snetterton Circuit in Norfolk for rounds 16 to 18 of the 2019 British Touring Car Championship. Then we head across to the Middle East and return to the streets of Diriyah in Saudi Arabia for round 2 of the FIA Formula E Championship. It's race 2 of the Diriyah E-Prix. This is Speedweek.
Snetterton in Norfolk is the location as the British Touring Car Championship moves into the second half of its campaign. This is what happened last time out. The opening race of 3 saw Dan Camish under huge pressure from the fast-starting BMW of Andrew Jordan, and the pair touched through Old Hall for the first time. Rory Butcher had the better of teammate Sam Tordoff, who was the big loser of the front-runners as he slipped from 2nd to 5th early on. Matt Neal crashed out on lap 6 when he went straight on at Lodge Corner after seemingly shedding one of his wheels, leaving the triple British Touring Car champion helpless as his car speared into the barrier at high speed. Tom Ingram had slight contact with Jason Plato into his loft, which then left Ash Sutton heading straight on across the grass. The drama wasn't over for Sutton, who had to retire following contact with Adam Morgan. When the dust eventually settled, it was victory for Colin Turkington to extend his advantage at the top of the standings. Race 2 and Colin Turkington the leading BMW, with Andrew Jordan relegating Dan Camish's Honda down to 3rd, whilst Tom Oliphant also hauled himself into contention. The drama commenced behind as Ash Sutton went off following slight contact with Rob Collard, whilst a touch between Josh Cook and Jack Goff eventually caused a high-impact accident with Chris Smiley. A lengthy safety car period followed, but that didn't scupper Matt Neal's surge through the order from the back of the grid in the latter half of the race. Another safety car interrupted proceedings after Sam Osborne's MG went heavily into the barrier at Old Hall. But the lead position stayed the same until the finish, as Turkington led home Jordan, Camish and Oliphant. One man who didn't make it to the end was Rob Smith. Smith squeezed off the track and smashing into the barriers. The third and final race at Alton Park, and the main talking point came on lap 3 when Matt Neal slid down the inside of Jake Hill and looked to have stolen the lead as Neal tugged ahead. Contact was made and he was spun across the track. A gaggle of cars tried to find their way through a cloud of smoke, and when the air finally cleared, it was Hill leading from Rory Butcher and Stephen Jelly as Neal tumbled down the order. Rory Butcher pushed hard and latched onto the back of Hill for one final push for a change in the order. However, Butcher overcooked things into Island Bend and his chance was over, all but confirming Hill's victory on the road. At the checker flag, it was Jake Hill who took the win, but not for long. Celebrations for Hill were cut short post-race after he was adjudged to have caused the accident involving Neil. "20 seconds was subsequently added to Hill's race time, which ensured Jelly would take his first win since Rockingham 10 years ago.
The second half of the 2019 Quick Fit British Touring Car Championship season is about to get underway. Aidan Moffat in the Infinity, and then Alton Park winner Stephen Jelly at the back of the grid, line into position, and that means that we are set to go racing. 5-second board is displayed. The second half of the season starts right here. Lights go red, lights out, blast off. Who makes the best start? Ingram gets away slightly better than Camish does. The BMWs are good off the line, as you would expect, and Ingram will lead down towards Riches for the first time. Camish second, Camish alongside him, and diving up the inside, Chilton goes ahead of Tordoff. The two leaders then are side by side. Ingram is just ahead on the inside line. Camish trying to attack, trying to keep Chilton behind him as they dive up towards Wilson for the first time. Ingram covers off the inside line, hangs on to the advantage, and he leads coming up towards turn 3 for the first time.
Yeah, the BMW's no chance to take advantage of their rear-wheel drive off the line because it's a very narrow grid, and the cars in front cleverly box the BMWs in on the inside.
Down they come then towards Agostini for the first time, running a little bit wide though there, the Subaru of Ash Sutton. So Ingram leads the pack. Second is Camish, third is Chilton, fourth is Tordoff, fifth is Turkington, Plato is sixth, Jordan is seventh, then it's Collard ahead of Neil, ahead of Morgan, ahead of Ollie Jackson having a great run. He's up the inside of the Mercedes, look in the background, and this is Jackson's view.
Yeah, on board with Jackson. Oh, and round the outside sweeps Adam Morgan in a good move there. Difficult to pass round that corner through Hamilton's, but he managed to put it off on the first lap. In front was Matt Neal trying to get his hard tyres working. There you see it again.
So out of Williams they come onto Bentley Straight for the first time. Can Ingram build this gap over the opposition? Let's see. He has still got Dan Cam riding shotgun. Down they come in third place at Chilton, then a small gap opening up over Tordoff, who is fourth. It is Turkington fifth, and Camish is crawling all over the back of the Toyota.
I saw Adam Morgan popping out, looked like he was trying to pass. Oh, off in the background.
Drama there. We've lost a car way up this gate, but it's Stephen Jelly and also Carl Boardley who've gone off together, and also Nicholas Hamilton is all over the grass coming out of the old S's. So Boardley and Jelly back on. The catalyst of that we'll have to have another look at. End of lap 1. Ingram is leading the way. Camish second, Chilton third, and a small gap opening up already. Chilton then comes up. He's on the soft tyre, and so too behind him is Tordoff as they break the beam then at the end of lap 1. So the lead gap, 0.3 of a second. Ingram over Camish, Chilton third, but interesting the way that they have edged away from the rest of them.
Yeah, there's lots of possibility. Daniel Rowbottom there looking up the inside into Riches, but he's going to get past. Oh no, those positions held there as they fight into the hairpin corner. On board now looking at Turkington in front. Turkington choosing the medium, the prime tyre, the standard tyre if you like. It's not prime and option this weekend, it's all three tyres.
Chris Smiley at the inside of Robo. Is he going to get through? Looks like he was as we move to Ollie Jackson. There they are, look side by side. Yes, Smiley has gone through, and also there one of the Volkswagens comes up to have a go. Bobby Thompson now to the inside line. Down they head towards Agostini. Smiley gets a tap in the tail from Bobby T, who is coming through. Robo loses a couple of places there, but he keeps out of trouble. The main aim is more mileage and a finish for many of them. They don't want to give their mechanics a huge amount of work to do during the day, so give that one up. And look at the way that Matt Simpson is going, and Matt Neal's got a problem. Matt Neal slows and pulls off the road.
Well, yeah, I thought initially that might have been the tyres, but no, he's pulled off. It doesn't look like he's got a puncture, does it, on the left front?
I was wondering whether the car didn't turn, though, so
Well, I think he deliberately pulled off because he had a problem. Back on board with Plato, looking at the back of Turkington's car as we come into the S's and Nelson corner. So important to get a good exit here. Remember, there are 5 places on this corner, on this circuit, where they have track limits sensors. This is an MSV circuit, so drivers do have to be careful. Oliphant, Turkington's teammate, lost his best lap in qualifying as a result of that.
And Ash Sutton was another, wasn't he, that lost the time thanks to track limit abuse. As down they come to the end of the lap then. It is still Ingram just ahead of Dan Camish. Jason Plato almost on the tail of Turkington, but not there yet, so he can't attack as yet. Ingram leads. The gap between the top 2 is not yet revealed, but you can see to the eye it is less because fastest lap of the race, Dan Camish. So he's brought the gap down, and now Ingram is under pressure. He's had a win this year, Dan Camish has not, and Chilton staying with them in 3rd place, ready to pick up the pieces as they come through Wilson. In 4th, it is Tordoff. Turkington 5th, Plato 6th, then Jordan is 7th, Collard 8th, Morgan is 9th, Ollie Jackson is in 10th place, Matt Simpson up into 11th.
Well, whatever, Nick Hamilton off in the background, but whatever the problem that's afflicted Matt Neal, the Dynamics team will be seriously hoping that doesn't affect Camish, their lead driver in this race. And when we had the tyre test here, the 2-day tyre test, Camish was one that did race distance testing on all 3 compounds. Ingram was concentrating on chassis setup, so I believe this will be the first time that he's done a race distance here on the soft tyre.
So there through is Dan Camish. He's dropped back a little bit from Ingram, hasn't he now? So as the cars accelerate through the right-hander of Williams, let's see on board with Ollie Jackson whether, with Matt Neal ahead, this in replay shows us anything about his demise. Bang.
Ah, yeah.
That might tell you something.
That would have hurt the steering, won't it?
In the background, look, there's Josh Cook versus Tom Oliphant. So Ash Sutton stays ahead, and Rowbottom keeps his place ahead of Smiley. Cook stays ahead of Oliphant, and Jack Goff is closing on them as well. Jack Goff gets sideways. That was with an assist, I think, from Senna Proctor's Subaru. So it's as lively at the rear of the pack as it is at the front.
As it always is in BTCC racing. Ash Sutton's having to fight a real rearguard action because that Subaru is by far and away the slowest car in all 3 of the speed traps. And so not only does he have difficulty getting past, he also has to defend aggressively as well.
And so too, in terms of aggressive defence, is Josh Cook, because he's got Tom Oliphant's BMW crawling all over the back of him as they come now onto Bentley Straight. Hard tyre for Cook, hard tyre for Oliphant as well as they come now down towards Brundle and Nelson. Rowbottom still ahead of Chris Smiley, with Bobby Thompson closing up on them as well, and Adam Morgan is on the attack now, getting onto the tail of Rob Collard, look.
Yeah, and you can see how that hard tyre is struggling. The faster cars around it. This is the mix of tyre in the race. There's a second difference between the soft and the hard, and half a second between that and the medium.
The best of the hards, as it were. 13th, Rory Butcher. Over the line have gone the race leaders. The gap still half a second. 4 laps in the book now. It is Ingram, Camish, Chilton, gap. 4th Tordoff, then it's Turkington, Plato, Jordan, Collard, Morgan and Jackson to round out the top 10. There is Andrew Jordan then with the 48 kilos of weight in the car, second in the championship. And how far back from Plato is he? He's 0.472 of a second and closes up at Wilson.
Yeah, actually, Jake Hill is just in front of Rory Butcher on the hard tyre as well. We've got Hill, Butcher and Sutton all on the hard tyre in 12th, 13th and 14th place. So that lead is definitely a comfortable one for Ingram. As you say, it was just over half a second on the last lap.
He's getting...
Oh, puncture for Chilton. He's gone straight on at Coram. Hopefully he'll stop before he gets the barrier. Just noses into it. But you saw the front end dip as the tyre punctured. Dave Bartram be really upset about that.
And that's a soft tyre. Now, do we read into this that that's just a fluke, or do we need to monitor soft tyres now? Chilton, a punctured tyre putting him off the road.
Well, I think it's too early in the race to say it's directly as a result of the soft tyre, but it may have been as a result of a curb strike earlier in the race. But that is the most loaded point of the track. And fortunately, the grass was dry and the car slowed down. When it's wet, the car flies off there. So anxious moment for Chilton, but disappointment for Motorbase.
So that means the lead gap is 8/10. There is Cook versus Oliphant. They just gained a place, of course. And so now 17th, but out of the points, frustratingly for Josh Cook this. Now, OK, on the harder tyre, he's getting rid of the pain early in the day from a relatively loaded grid position. And Adam Morgan's race comes to an end, seemingly because the Mercedes parked, and having been going so well up into 8th place, drama strikes. Adam Morgan then parked by the side of the circuit as well. That is a real shame, because he was looking a lot racier than for the last couple of events. There's the replay of the tyre going down, Chilton going off, and boom, into the barrier.
Yeah, good three-wall rows of tyres there. This is the overtake between Cook and Oliphant.
And Jack Goff gets in on the act as well.
Ever the opportunist.
Yeah.
Now that looks like an overtake. It looks like Moffat is moving forward.
He's up to 18th from 29th on the grid. This is a mega effort, isn't it? The Infiniti going better than ever before. And every time out they find something and take a step forward. Aidan Moffat is, don't forget, running on the soft tyre. Josh Cook is on the hard. But even so, in terms of gaining places, this is a really great effort in the Laser Tools Racing Infiniti Q50 coming down to the end of the lap. Aidan Moffat then now gets up into 18th spot, and Senna Proctor has a go to trouble Josh Cook.
Yeah, and I have to say a lot of that is down to the tyre. You know, a lot of it is, but nevertheless, it's a great debut for them. But just going back to the to Ingram and the Infiniti, they were going to have that car on the four-poster shaker rig to try and work out the chassis dynamics a little bit closer. They didn't do that, but I believe the performance they've gained in that car is from the dampers in settling that chassis down.
Because certainly at Alton Park, it looked quite hoppy, didn't it, at certain corners? We saw it bouncing around, and the team had a good study of that as well. So the lead gap is up to 9/10 of a second. Camish has done the fastest lap of the race, but that was early on. He's not, at the moment, being able to bring down that gap, nor is Sam Tordoff bringing down that 5-second deficit, which is what second to third is. So it's Toyota Corolla from the new and then the old-shaped Civic. Stephen Jelly has a moment coming out of turn 3. He'll be able to get going again, but places gained, I'm afraid he's now lost. And that seemingly was self-induced.
Yeah, it looked like he carried a bit too much speed in, perhaps on the dirty part of the track. Bit of dust on there, and round he went. But at least the electronic problems of qualifying are gone.
Yeah, that fly-by-wire throttle issue, thankfully, behind him. Adam Morgan gearbox problem, we understand. Down to the end of the lap. The end of lap number 9. The leader starts 10, and can Simpson now make a move against Jackson?
Yeah, again, it's the soft tyre advantage. He's flashing his lights, is Matt Simpson. He was very quick in one of the free practices. Didn't quite get the grid position he was hoping for, but the speed is definitely in the car. As Ollie Jackson pops out, is there going to be contact? No! Collard sweeps across the front of him into Riches, just gets through. And now Jackson is having to defend from Simpson.
Up the inside is Jackson, round the outside tries to go Matt Simpson, but that does not work. This might just let Collard escape a little bit, but Jackson goes out wide. Here comes Simpson trying to get the run on him. So the yellow Ford Focus versus the white Honda Civic, the older shaped car. Can Simpson duck up the inside? Winner at Alton Park last year, don't forget. Ollie Jackson's been on the podium, but never a touring car race winner thus far. And crawling all over him on arguably the better tyre here is Matt Simpson. Can't yet find a way through, but it's not for the want of trying. We're on lap 10 of 12 here at Snetterton.
Yeah, the gap at the front just over 1.5 seconds, 1.6 it was, with lap times still slower for Camish than Tom Ingram.
So Simpson on the tail of Jackson. They turn through Hamilton, then Oggies up to Williams here, the right-hander that loops them back onto what used to be the Revit straight, now Bentley straight. Aidan Moffat up ahead of Jack Goff now, so he's 17th, up from 29th on the grid. This will do him well in the Dunlop Forever Forward competition for places gained from your grid position to your finishing position. As Jordan round the outside of Plato, they rub, they lean on each other. Jordan gets squeezed up the sausage curve, but Jason Plato sticks out his elbows. He will not give way. He's still ahead. Jordan now makes a move on the inside of Bombhole, and he goes through for 5th place.
Yes, two experienced BTCC protagonists fighting it out to a move taking at least 2 corners to complete, but Jordan was always going to get his nose in front there, wasn't he, on the exit of Nelson to the Bombhole.
Can Jason Plato fight back? They've been caught by the Collard Jackson Simpson battle pack as well. So the race leaders have got 2 to run, and the gap is 1.4 seconds. Ingram to Camish, Through goes Jordan up to 5th. Plato, Collard, Jackson, Simpson. That takes you to 9th. It's still Jake Hill heading the hard tyre class. He is in 10th place. And
I think this is going to be a replay of
on
Moffat.
Jack Goff. Yeah, coming out of turn 3, gets up the inside.
Yeah, the reason that move for Jordan was important was because obviously within the points battle, Turkington was 2 places ahead of him, so gaining points on him, which is the only real issue, and Collard was catching that group, so he had to force it. Now he's got away from Plato and Collard and reduced the points deficit to Turkington.
Trouble is, in terms of another place to be gained, he's nearly 6 seconds back from Turkington, so barring dramas for others, there he plateaus, but there might be dramas ahead. Look, because there was dust and smoke settling up the road. This is Oliphant now, coming under attack from Moffat, so 16th place they run. Further up the road, incidentally, we've got Smiley 14th, Dan Rowbottom 13th, we understand, has got some damage now on the Cataclysm Mercedes after an incident. We'll pick that up in a moment, but right now it's all eyes on Oliphant and his wide BMW, keeping the Infinity at bay. Good rear-wheel drive fight going on there.
Yeah, I have to say, further up the field, we haven't seen much of it, but Jake Hill, Rory Butcher and Sutton have really done a good job with the hard tyre because they're in 10th, 11th and 12th, and we've seen just how much slower that hard tyre is.
Right, the Vauxhalls getting themselves together. Collard challenging Plato, who has a slight twitch coming down towards the old S's through Brundle and Nelson. He's way up onto 2 wheels. Does that give Collard better traction? Bearing in mind he had all his wheels on the ground. He comes down towards Bombhole, crawling all over the back of his teammate, whose car may have got a bit of damage in that contact with Jordan. But right now, Plato is having to really defend from his teammate.
Yeah, he looks a little bit ragged, does Jason. He doesn't want to lose another place, using all of the road and more.
So over the timing line have gone the race leaders. It's 2 seconds. Ingram to Camish. Tordhoff is 3rd. There is the leader on his last lap. 4th is Turkington. In 5th place should be Jordan. He is. Then it's Plato ahead of Collard, Jackson, Simpson and Hill to round out the top 10. Can Collard gain ground? Clearly, Jason's car is now struggling, so he's falling back into the clutches of 2 cars like him on the medium tyre, 1 on soft. We've had a shuffle behind because now Bobby Thompson is up into 13th and Dan Rowbottom is down to 14th. Still in the points though, Robo, but he's lost a place to Bobby Thompson. So Tom Ingram heading for his 2nd victory of the season, seemingly. What about Tom Oliphant versus Aidan Moffat? This is for 16th place. All of this effort, and they're just outside the points.
Yeah, but you never know. Until the last corner of the last lap, there's still possibility of points.
This is true. It's not over till the fat lady eats cake or something. So down they come towards turn 3, and there you've got the BMW just ahead of the Infinity. Jack Goff keeping Senna Proctor at bay, but up front it is Tom Ingram heading down towards the S's with a gap on this last lap of 2 seconds.
A fabulous drive, well done to all of the Speedworks team, Toyota and Tom Ingram. They have dialed this car in. People will be seriously worried about this for the rest of this year. This bodes fantastically for race fans for the second half of the year, and all credit to them.
So, into the long right-hander of Coram. He will come for the last time. This is going to be a career 11th win for Tom Ingram. It's also going to be a bag full of points for the championship, and perhaps more importantly than anything, a massive boost for the team, because it's not a reverse grid win. It's from pole position, it's on pace, it's on merit, it's round 16, and it's a win for Tom Ingram. The Toyota Corolla comes across the line victorious. The Speedworks Motorsport squad celebrates, and Tom Ingram wins by 3 seconds from Dan Camish. The results of round 16 at Snetterton confirm a win for Tom Ingram, with Dan Camish 2nd and Sam Tordhoff taking 3rd. Colin Turkington is the first driver home on the medium tyre, 4th, ahead of his teammate Andrew Jordan, and then Jason Plato just fending off Rob Collard ahead of Ollie Jackson 8th, Matt Simpson 9th, and the best of those on the hard tyre, Jake Hill in 10th place. So, compute all that into the championship. Colin Turkington and Andrew Jordan still the top 2, but the margin is now 35 points. Rory Butcher is 3rd, just 1 ahead now of Ash Sutton. Josh Cook is down to 5th and Dan Camish up to 6th. Tom Ingram's on the up, he's 7th ahead of Matt Neal. Then it's Tom Chilton. Jason Plato is still there 10th.
Next, it's more action from Snetterton and the British Touring Car Championship. Let's return to the British Touring Car Championship at Snetterton.
Adam Morgan's going to be quick. Tom Chilton, who of course was good in the tyre test, and that car's so fast in a straight line. There's a long straight here, there's the Bentley straight as well. That Ford Focus will be one to watch. Round 17 of the Quick Fit British Touring Car Championship is go. Good start by Turkington. He's on the move already. He's got past Tordoff. He comes up alongside Camish. It's going to be Tom Ingram that leads down towards the first corner. Turkington on the inside line goes second. Does Andrew Jordan get third? No, not quite. Camish is third. Jordan fourth. Tordoff fifth. Ollie Jackson's up to sixth already. Look, as the cars head up towards Wilson for the first time. A little bit of dust kicked up in the background. One of the Volkswagen seems to run way out wide, but it's Ingram that leads. Turkington is second. Do they all safely get round Wilson? So far, so good, although Ash Sutton's got a bit sideways in the mid-pack. Out they come, down towards turn 3 for the first time, and everybody on those softer tyres on the attack straight away.
Yeah, it was a great start by Turkington, actually, and from Ingram as well, but Camish was not able to close that door and cover that gap off as Nick Hamilton's off on the side of the track, but so that allowed Turkington straight through into second.
So it is Ingram that leads the way as they come out of Agostini. Contact between Moffat and Rowbottom, who's in the barriers. We cut away just as he headed for the concrete, and that was Matt Neal at the first corner. That was the smoke we saw. Now what about Dan Rowbottom? He's been off the road, he's got damage, he's carrying on, but that has badly delayed him.
Yeah, massive radiator full of grass is going to necessitate to stop, but yeah, Matt Neal, that won't have done his tyres any good at all, that big slide, but he did well to hold it.
Good. So Ingram leads down Bentley Straight for the first time. Turkington is second. Third is now Camish. Andrew Jordan is still fourth, which is bad news in the sense that Turkington's escaping up the road a little bit. Ollie Jackson is running fifth after a really good start. There is the leader then, so it's Ingram on the medium tyre, front-wheel drive versus rear-wheel drive BMW on the soft. Jordan crawling all over the back now of Camish, looking for third place as they come through Coram for the first time. Jordan inching up onto the tail of the Honda. Is he ready to make a move at the end of the lap? Let's see. They come down towards the braking zone. Does Jordan line up for the inside line? No, not there, he doesn't.
It's this next section where the BMWs are very quick into the first hairpin, out of there through Palmer's, down into Agostini, and here comes Jordan on the inside. Camish has said enough is enough, I'm not going to fight you anymore.
So now Turkington will be aware of that in his mirrors and think, right, I need to get on with this, need to start applying a bit more pressure. Camish flatting the light, so he's lost the place, but he's on the lights to Jordan to try to unsettle him. Good luck with that. Coming out of the fast left down now towards Agostini they come. They're going through the Rory Butcher Honda. He's under attack from Ash Sutton.
I suspect what actually happened is we're now getting Ollie Jackson looking at Chilton. What happened was because Matt let Andy Jordan through, Andy Jordan would have put his hand up in the car to say thank you. Matt was flashing the lights just to acknowledge that. It wasn't a I'm going to try and come back at you threat.
So Dan Camish drops back one spot then. Matt Neal, after his big slide, incidentally, still trying to make amends, down in 27th place. There you've got Ollie Jackson next in the queue, fifth. Look, what can he do about the Honda? Fastest lap of the race thus far, Colin Turkington, a 1:57.7, a couple of tenths up on the Tom Ingram time, but it's still Ingram that leads the way. Now, for as long as Turkington is stuck there in second place, can Jordan bring down that gap? In the first sector, the answer is no, but he's had to do the overtaking. In the middle sector, he's a tenth down, but Jordan now is on the attack.
Oh, Jordan's down now, starting to look a bit racy against his teammate. And of course, he does need to try and take points on Turkington. So it's important for Jordan not to play the teammate game, but to try and pass him. Jelly in the wars, big time.
Damage, I think he's been collected after a spin, and if that car is going to be marooned on the circuit, that could be an interruption. He's going to try and drag it off the circuit. It's been another bleak day for Paul Stewart Parker's team, as there are the race leaders. So Andrew Jordan thinking, right, Colin, if you can't get past Ingram, I'll have a go at him, but I've got to get past, of course.
Here we go, hit.
Josh Cook on Stephen Jelly. Around goes the BMW, another hit, and then bang, Senna Proctor ploughs in. Chilton and Morgan got involved. There's Chilton on the attack against Aidan Moffat, who is in 19th place. Here comes Chilton up the inside. Through he has gone. And Matt Neal has got past Chilton as well now. There are the leaders now, starting lap 7. Ingram, Turkington, Jordan. Here comes Turkington almost into the back of the Toyota. There was nowhere to go. Jordan's on the outside line. Jordan has a go at his teammate. Jordan has a go at Ingram. He gets a tap in the tail. Turkington goes through. Jordan's hung out to dry, so Camish is going to come past him. Jordan all over the curb. The cork's out of the bottle. Camish is the real winner out of that because he's up to second again. Jordan third. Jackson is fourth. Fifth now, it is toured off and down to sixth is Ingram. through on the inside of him. Now goes Plato. Simpson comes up to have a go as well, but there was a little tap in the back, it seemed, against the Toyota. That unsettled Ingram, and they've all come flooding past him.
Yeah, you see, this is the difficulty for the driver. He's just getting pushed out wider. See, if Ingram had perhaps let them go one by one, he may not have lost so many positions. But a driver doesn't want to do that instinctively, but he's now been well and truly mugged. And as you say, Camish is the real winner out of that. But I suspect that it's not going to be too long before Jordan gets back past.
So let's see, but Ingram, after that little possible contact up at the hairpin, has certainly now been well and truly mugged. They've all come swarming past him, and now that car relatively struggling for pace. But of course Camish is on the same tyre but lighter, and he's running in second spot, so he's the big winner out of all of that. Turkington leads the way, and he's trying to build the lead once more. Ingram under attack there from Jake Hill. They've already made contact once on this lap, and Ingram in the Toyota, Hill, then Butcher, then Oliphant, then Chris Smiley, all swabbling. Down they come towards Bombhole. Oliphant on the inside of the Honda, gets into side of Rory Butcher. That gets Butcher sideways, and Chris Smiley gets past one. Is he going to get past two? Yes, he is, on the inside line.
Yeah, that was never going to work. 2 into 1 into the Bombhole. You tend to have to let the car on the inside go, but Rory was determined to try and keep the corner. Here we go, back to the overtaking manoeuvre. Turkington on the inside. There's a little tap on the back just there. But at the same time, Jordan's trying to go around the outside, and as Ingram gets pushed wide, he pushes Jordan out wide as well. Through goes Camish, thank you very much.
Tom Ingram's best lap is a 1:57. His last was a 2 minutes 13.
Yeah,
he's got a problem of some description. So we're on to lap number 10. There is Jake Hill keeping Tom Oliphant at bay. Now, with Chris Smiley up the road, that means he has gained 9th, so you're looking at the fight for 10th, and Jordan again pulls out to find a way past Camish. Great defence this, and now there is a mechanical warning flag for Sam Osborne, but Camish hangs on to his second place, and Jordan is still third. Jackson 4th is close, but not close enough to make a move.
Through the bomb hole once again, great camera angle there. And into Coram, a corner that has changed massively. Remember what a fast corner it used to be. Now it's actually a decreasing speed bend all the way around. They enter it faster than they end up as they turn into Murray's, the tight right-hander at the end of the lap. And then this first section is all uphill, which is why it's always been considered a bit of a power circuit here. It's all uphill, this first straight.
Over the line goes Turkington, 4 seconds clear of Dan Camish. Helping Colin for the championship, isn't he? Because he's keeping Jordan at bay in third. Then it's Jackson, Tordoff and Plato to round out the top 6. Ash Sutton 7th, having a good run in that Subaru.
Yeah, very good run. That's good for Sutton. He's actually not on the soft tyre, he's on the prime medium tyre.
And that's Chris Smiley going ahead of Matt Simpson for 8th place now. So Smiley here, upholding BTC's honour. Where is Josh Cook? 15th. He's on target for 1 point, but Smiley goes ahead of Simpson. New shape Honda ahead of Old now. And there's one more lap to run at the end of this. Bits of bodywork lie on the road. Smiley hoovers it up, and Oliphant still on the attack behind. Look to get past Jake Hill as Simpson goes to the outside at Agostini. Can't find a way through at turn 4.
Thinks about a cut back, but I think Smiley's got that covered off. Oliphant's trying to get in front of Hill at the same place.
And Smiley there, throwing everything at this. Rockingham winner last year. There's your second, third, fourth battle. Ollie Jackson almost there. The Motorbase Ford nearly up with Jordan, himself an ex-Motorbase racer. But look at the gap Turkington has now pulled. Another driving standards flag for Andrew Jordan this time, and also for Rob Collard.
Yeah, well, at this stage of the race, the offences clock up, don't they, round the lap? Yeah. So it's almost inevitable, but only going to be another lap after the next one.
So through the S's they come, down towards the bomb hole then now. This is lap 11 of the 12, and Dan Camish hanging on to second place, scoring really good, solid points here. If he can get 2 seconds out of the day, comes through Coram then. And Andrew Jordan trying to force a mistake out of him. There is Josh Cook's rather dog-eared Astra on the back of Rob Collard's car. This is for 14th place then. Josh really seems to be struggling this weekend. For whatever reason, he's sideways there. Good save, Josh, but... Oh.
Well, Josh was telling me that they'd found a problem with the dampers on the car, at the front of the car. They put new dampers on, and it had massively changed the balance of the car. And he was saying then it had given the car so much front-end grip, they were then struggling to get the rear to follow, and we saw a great example of it just there.
So all of that effort, 15th he runs. There's the line for second, for third, for fourth, fifth, sixth, all together pretty much as they come through the hairpin. And this is Aidan Moffat versus Mark Blundell in the Audi. Gets up the inside of the Infinity and squeezes by on the inside at the bowl hole there.
Yeah, Mark on the soft tyres, making full use of them.
And that's Carl Boardley at his home circuit, a retirement in the Team Hard Volkswagen, having been running just outside the top 20. So another disappointing day for the Suffolk driver. Meantime, it is Turkington leading on this last lap from Dan Camish and Andrew Jordan. And Colin Turkington set to give WSR this 10th win of the season, a record in one season for Dick Bennett's team. That's significantly to extend his championship lead.
Yeah, he's got a car between him and Jordan, which will make him very happy. It was perhaps predictable, but still finely executed drive by Colin Turkington. He was patient at the start, forced the issue when he felt the time was right, and has then driven away. But unsurprisingly, with a fairly light car and soft tyres, Jordan will be disappointed not to have made the most of a similar situation to get through to second at least, but a fine drive by Camish to recover to second with near maximum weight and medium tyres.
Absolutely. Tom Ingram, by the way, is still circulating, but way off the pace now as the leaders come down towards the final corner. Battle on still here, though, between Tordoff, Plato and Sutton, but Colin Turkington is heading up towards the line. He's going to have a 51st career win, the 10th this year for WSR. The championship leader increases the championship lead. Colin Turkington wins round 17. Dan Camish is second. Andrew Jordan takes third ahead of Jackson, Tordoff, Plato and Sutton. Eighth will be Chris Smiley. Good result for him. Round 17 won by Colin Turkington. Dan Camish 4.3 seconds behind him, and Andrew Jordan in third. Ollie Jackson, a great drive that for fourth, ahead of Sam Tordoff and Jason Plato. Seventh goes to Ash Sutton. Chris Smiley bags eighth. Matt Simpson is ninth, and the top 10 rounded out by Jake Hill. As far as the championship is concerned, Colin Turkington now 40 points up on Andrew Jordan. Dan Camish up to third ahead of Ash Sutton. Rory Butcher fifth. Josh Cook drops to sixth. Tom Ingram is seventh ahead of Jason Plato. Matt Neal is ninth, and Tom Chilton rounds out the top 10.
Coming up next, more action from Snetterton and British touring cars. Welcome back to British Touring Cars at Snetterton in Norfolk.
So, as soon as Jack Goff is into position, we should be good to go. Rob Smith's MG lines up, Dan Rowbottom's Mercedes is there, Jack Goff at the back, and Bert Taylor nearest us, the man who operates the BTC Racing Squad, looks at his driver, Chris Smiley, on pole position for round 18 of the Quick Fit British Touring Car Championship. That is go. They blast away from the line. Good start by Ash Sutton as expected. He's away like a stab rat, so he'll be up on the outside of the Honda as they dive down towards Riches. To the inside line goes Tordoff. Andrew Jordan's made a good start as well, but it's Smiley who leads into the first corner, and Sutton hung out to dry on the outside. That means Jason Plato tries to get up alongside him as well as they dive towards the hairpin. Sutton to the outside line. It's Smiley that leads. Plato is second up the inside of the Honda. Jason goes through and takes over the lead. Smiley goes out wide. Sutton's going to bag second. Or is he? Chris Smiley stands his ground on the inside line, and Sutton is only third as they dive into turn 3 for the first time. Now Smiley slides out wide on the dust. Sutton gets up the inside of him. This is not going according to Ash's plan.
Not so far, but Ash was very careful not to waste his chance in turns 2 and 3 by doing anything rash. He knows he's got time on his side, but he didn't get the start he wanted to get round the outside before they turned into Riches.
So great
opportunity by Plato, though.
But Jason Plato leads in the BTCC. It's happened at last. It's been in the post, if you like, all season. Jason's been knocking on the door of being right up there. Well, he leads now after those dreadful last couple of seasons. And now, how long is he going to be up front? The Vauxhall Astra heads onto Bentley Straight in the lead of the race. Dan Camish gets up the inside of Rory Butcher. Plato leads, Sutton second on the preferred tyre, but actually the gap is not coming down, so Jason Plato has the advantage, and that is Michael Crease with broken suspension out on lap 1.
Yeah, remember Plato and Sutton were teammates at Subaru last couple of years, and we're absolutely sure there's no love lost between the two of them. So Plato won't be making it easy for them. And the one thing that also we know about Plato is when he has a chance of winning, even a slim chance, he delivers his best. This was a great move up the inside.
Through he goes. Smiley hung out to dry. Now look at the back, because do we see... Oh, Stephen Jelly gets turned sideways. Poor old Stephen on again. Carl Boardley gets into the back of him. Michael Crease is involved. Team Parker Racing have just rebuilt that BMW, only for it to be battered about again. So this is on board with Plato. He's up the inside. Gets past Smiley.
This could allow Jake Hill to get back up the inside. That would be fantastic. Remember, Jake lost that win at Alton Park as a result of the steward's decision. This could be an opportunity to do it again on track.
Absolutely right. There is Rob Collard fighting with Dan Camish. Tom Oliphant's got a bit of rear damage. Josh Cook's hustling along. Yellow flag being waved because of the retirement of Michael Crease. That's why that's there in the background. There are the three leaders out of Agostini. And where does Sutton make the move? Good luck getting past Jason Plato. Jason wanting another win, and boy, is he going to fight every inch of the way for this.
Yeah, that up the inside into that corner, Oggies would be a really good place to pass, because Sutton can carry his speed through Hamilton, but Jason's wary of it.
Knockhill 2017, Jason Plato's last visit to the top step of the podium, and right now he is making that the world's widest Vauxhall Astra. Ash Sutton is right up behind him in the Subaru. Chris Smiley is almost there as well as they dive down Bentley Straight, heading towards the Brundle-Nelson sequence. Now the last lap from Jake Hill running in 4th place, not quite as good actually as those leading cars, but now that he's got clear air ahead of him, he can do a good lap, and he is starting to creep down onto their tail. Down through Coram goes Plato, and a replay here of the first lap of the race. Jason does get into the back of Smiley. Lap 5 we're on, and Sutton is getting ever more determined, isn't he, because he knows that this isn't working out for him. Other drivers on soft are starting to close on him, and he's still stuck behind his old teammate.
Yeah, I mean, at the moment, he's not getting any pressure from Smiley. I mean, Plato would like to back them all up. Oh, here comes Hill looking again. Round the outside, can Sutton do anything there?
Gets the drive off the corner. He's
going to get driven off the circuit if he tries to go around there.
But he ducks up the inside line here. Plato's widen up the curve, but Ash Sutton's on the outside line for the next corner, not the place to be, but he turns it ahead. There's contact that runs him out wide. He's onto the dirt with 2 wheels. Here comes Smiley back up the inside line. Smiley goes second, retakes the place. So Ash Sutton, so many people's tip for the win, is finding this not going to plan, because he's not gained a place, he's lost out, and now he's got to defend from Jake Hill on the same type of tyre.
Yeah, Jake will be quicker on the straights as well, so that round the outside move, I didn't think it was ever going to work, because Jason was always going to push him out wide. But Sutton was just desperate to find somewhere he could do something.
So now, what can Smiley do, if anybody, about Plato, or is he going to drive away while Chris Smiley defends? We know that Chris, who's a bit like Scrappy Doo, will defend for every position. And drama there, Oliphant's off the road, and Matt Neal as well. Both get going again, but a little bit more damage done to the BMW, and Matt Neal having a torrid time here. Winner here 12 months ago. Mark Blundell gets up the inside of him in the second of the Audis. Here are the leaders coming up towards the line. It's Plato ahead of Smiley now for the top 2.
This is what happened with Matt Neal and Oliphant. Oliphant was turning in, Matt was on the inside. Simpson had to cut across the grass. Yeah, it's a very slow race. Lap times are very slow.
You've got Rory Butcher catching Jake Hill in the background. Also in that replay, there was a shot of Tom Ingram. Just to update, he's up to 13th place now from the rear of the grid.
And as we say that, Sutton cuts to the inside with judicious use of some grass coming through Palmer's to get the overlap before they get down to Agostini. That's a good move he could pull actually on Jason as well, if he could do that.
Okay, let's see then. So, as you were, Sutton chases Plato for the race lead, but now we're on lap 6 of the 12.
And look how quickly Sutton catches Plato within the space of 2 corners, and Jake's got now up the inside of Smiley as well. He'll get this corner.
And so will Butcher, because he's on the soft as well. So Chris Smiley loses 1, 2, 3 places now. Remember, the only other driver on the harder tyre up the road is Jason Plato, who is now going to have all of these soft shod cars queuing up behind him. There'll be Sutton, Hill and Rory Butcher as they dive down into the S's. So Jason Plato defended well for the first half of the race. Can he keep defending?
Well, it's through that left-hander where we saw Sutton pass Smiley, it is a really hard place to defend because you're sort of on the line. You can only use the grip you can do. If Sutton if Sutton can time this, the same thing for Plato. Look how much extra grip he has right there. He times it perfectly so that coming out the corner, Smiley can't move over and shut the door on him. Oh, they're side by side, but he's not going to get this done up the straight on the outside.
He's going to have a go, though, and he's got his nose in front as they come across the timing line, but he's on the wrong line for the corner. The Subaru notoriously bad in a straight line. 18 thousandths back over the timing line, side by side through turn one. Sutton stands his ground on the outside. Fantastic racing. They are still overlapping. It's like a rolling start going up towards the Wilson hairpin. Sutton on the outside line. Butcher's up to third ahead of Jake Hill. Still Sutton on the outside. He gets hung out to dry over the grass, but he's on the inside line for the next corner. He keeps on coming. Ash Sutton on the inside of Jason Plato goes through. Fantastic racing.
Side by side for half a lap, and finally it persevered. And credit to Jason Plato, he didn't run Sutton off the road through the first race, or the corner, or the second, and now Butcher now there's contact.
He's on the back of him.
Oh, he's back inside, but Sutton might get a cutback.
Well, will Jason give him the place? Because there was contact and he's taken the lead of the race back again. He might get a penalty for that. Jason might think, oh, I'll risk it. He might think, I'll let him by. Here comes Ash Sutton again to have a go on the outside line. Rory Butcher is looking menacing as well, because while these two are squabbling, he can go for the gap on the inside. That time around, Ash does get run wide, and here comes Butcher. He goes for the inside line up into second place, or does he? Not quite. Jason Plato leads the race once more, but there was definitely a coming together down at Agostini.
Well, Jason is using all of his old, what should we call them, skills to stay in the lead of this race. And I dare say that now Sutton is really cross.
We're getting a driving standards flag for Dan Camish in 17th place, which I guess is for track limit. There's Tom Ingram in the background, getting up on the inside. You've got Ollie Jackson ahead here of Jake Hill, who's dropped back. So Ollie Jackson running in 8th at the start of the lap. Jake Hill also dropping away, sadly, as Sutton has another look to the inside line. Does he force the issue? He tries. He gets up alongside, but now is the Vauxhall going to disappear up the road because it's quicker in a straight line? Sutton tries to brave it out, but this is the frustration that he'll just look at the back of the Vauxhall, and Butcher tries to get a toe off the pair of the on the inside line.
Try and go around the outside. Sutton will try and go around all the way around the outside, and he's going to do it. There's going to be contact.
And Butcher leads the way. Rory Butcher leads. Sutton and Plato come to grief. That was inevitable, you could argue. And Rory Butcher, right place, right time. Josh Cook goes second up on the inside line. So Rory Butcher leads the way. Chris Smiley's up to third. And this is the new race leader who picked his line perfectly, watching what was going on the other side of the road. Plato and Sutton, they came to grief. And so Rory Butcher for AMD leads the way. Josh Cook is up into second place, and they are about to start lap number 10.
Here's the replay. Sutton is going to try and go around the outside. Butcher's got a run on Plato, so they end up 3 wide as they come into the braking area. Sutton comes in. I mean, there's just no way for 3 cars to go around that corner.
Masterful avoidance by Josh Cook. Rory Butcher says, yes, got it, through on the inside. Plato delayed by the spinning Subaru. You've got a feel for Ash Sutton, haven't you?
He put everything he could into that. You know, there was no other. He tried inside, outside, every which way.
That's Collard looking for the place against Smiley, who is absolutely on the limit.
They're flinging that car into Coram, isn't it? There's so much dirt on the track, and a bit of a lock up from Collard, but they get through. There's so much dirt on the track as well that it's with a bit of rain as well, it's getting pretty slippery out there.
1.2 seconds as they start the last lap. That should be enough for Rory Butcher to consolidate. It will be a second win of the season, the second for AMD, but it's the one they're really wanting because it will be a proper win. They'll take the flag first. They can lean over the debris fencing on the pit wall and cheer their man home. And right now, Rory Butcher leads Josh Cook by 1.2 seconds. Now look at the battle pack for third as Collard gets up the inside of Smiley. They clatter against each other. Chris with his elbows out, trying to hang on to third place. Ingram's almost with them in the background, and Smiley on the inside line. There's more contact. Collard having a go. Plato is back with him, and Jason thinks, well, if you can't get past, I'll have another go and see whether I can do it. So Jason's up the inside line here. Plato versus Collard, down to Agostini. Collard stays ahead.
Yeah, Collard with the soft. Oh, a little bit of a slide there from Collard, a bit of an unusual one. And Plato's back through again. It's the last lap, so all's fair in love and war.
So there is Smiley hanging on to that third place. Meantime, up front, Rory Butcher was caught by 3,000ths only in sector one. So can he maintain this gap? Yes, he probably can. There are the Vauxhalls at play, and Collard goes back through on the inside of Plato. But while they've been trading the place, Smiley's built the gap by about 3 lengths with his wiper on. Jordan is with them as well, Andrew Jordan. He's on the hard tyre, and then you've got the hard-shod Honda of Sam Tordoff. But Rory Butcher leads the way.
Remember, Rory Butcher's engineer is Mike Bushell,
yes,
who was former touring car driver, and they formed a strong partnership, and have to give credit to Mike. I spoke to him earlier in the weekend. He said they were building towards race 3 as well, and that plan has worked out very nicely.
So a win for Rory Butcher at Brands Hatch in the opening weekend came in the steward's room. This time it's going to be a proper win on the track for Rory Butcher, for Sean Hollenby's AMDtuning.com team, because round 18 at Snetterton is won by Rory Butcher. He takes the checker flag ahead of Josh Cook, up to second, having started 15th on the grid. The results of round 18, a win for Rory Butcher, Josh Cook second, Chris Smiley third, Hondas 1, 2, 3, the older shape ahead of the 2 newer FK8s. Fourth, Rob Collard, who wins the Vauxhall Astra fight over teammate Jason Plato, who led more laps than anybody. Andrew Jordan takes 6th ahead of Sam Tordoff, with Tom Ingram 8th. Ollie Jackson, a really good day for him. 3 top 10 finishes for the first time, he takes 9th. And Colin Turkington, championship leader, 10th. So, for the championship, what does all that do? Colin Turkington still leads, but the gap is down to 36 points. It's still a big gap, but it's down over Andrew Jordan. Rory Butcher is up to 3rd, and then Josh Cook 4th, ahead of Dan Camish. Ash Sutton 6th, ahead of Tom Ingram. Jason Plato, Matt Neal 9th, and the top 10 rounded out by Tom Chilton.
There's more to come after the break as the streets of Diriyah in Saudi Arabia come to life with the second round of the FIA Formula E Championship. It's race 2 of the Diriyah E-Prix.